So when we flew in, okay, Shia and I, we like went and ate food. We flew in, okay. We went to like have like, I think we had hot pot or something like that. We went and had food, and then we went and looked up a coffee shop. Okay, we looked it up. Okay, in the first 3 photos, all right, I would show you what they are, but obviously I don't want to show this place on screen. But it looked like it was pictures of nice lattes on like a nice table, okay? And it was like nicely lit, and it looked really good. And I was like, oh, and we looked through like 3 or 4 photos, and it was just of like really good looking lattes. And I was like, oh, and then also the reviews were like, this is the best coffee I've ever had. Definitely would come again. And then it was like, and they were like good reviews, and it was like all about the coffee. And I was like, okay, great, like this is like a nice coffee place. We show up and it's like we heard music outside. We're like, oh my god, this coffee place is bumping. Mind you, I don't really like, I've been to some weird coffee places where the music is like bumping and stuff, and so like it didn't surprise me. I was like, okay, great. So then we walk in, and then there's like beans on like the doorway. Like there's like like, you know, when you're like trying to hide something, you have like beads on the doorway. So we walk in, we're like, and it says, please wait to be seated. And we're like, oh, okay, and then we're like looking around, and then this like woman like opens up the curtain. She's like, oh, you can come in this way. And we're like, okay. And like, mind you, she's like in a bikini, but like for some reason it didn't register that she was like in a bikini to me. I was just like, oh, hi, pretty lady. Okay, thank you. And then we sat down, and it was like, we sat down, and I was looking around, and I was like, and then I look over to my right, and this girl is like giving a lap dance, and her like just tits are out. And I'm like, and then Shia literally looks at me across the table like this, and he goes, I think this is a gentleman's club. Like, okay. I was like, how's her coffee? And we got the coffee, and it was pretty decent.
But was the coffee good?
Yeah, it was good. And then she came by, and I gave her like a $10 bill, and then she was like, oh, do you want a lap dance? And I was like, yes, that's exactly why. Yep, that's exactly why I gave you $10. It wasn't because I was just trying to be nice and be like, hey, sorry, some 2 weirdos came into this coffee shop not knowing what it is and making you order a whole bunch of weird stuff. No, it totally wasn't that. I totally wanted a lap dance. Yeah. And then she gave me a lap dance, and she took her shirt off.
What a story, bruh.
Anyway, so then we left, okay? And then we went to Numi's place, and they were like, what took you so long to get here? And then we told Numi and everybody that we were like, yo, we literally just like accidentally did this. And they're like, how the fuck? And then Numi was like, yeah, we should totally go there to investigate. And I was like, yeah, maybe. And then we went like the day after, but that's a whole different story. We obviously like did the loo party and all that the next day, but then after that she was like, you want to get food? And I was like, yeah, let's go get food. We ate food, okay. We went and had food after that, but then she was like, afterwards she was like, do you guys want to get coffee? And I was like, yeah, I like coffee. And she was like, no, do you want to get like coffee?
Nice.
And I was like, you mean like you mean the coffee place that I accidentally went in? Yeah, okay, yeah, we can go get coffee. And then Numi was like, yeah, I need to investigate, okay? She's like, we need to investigate. That's what she was saying. So then we go, oh, homeless, thanks for the stuff, by the way, I appreciate it. And then we go, okay? We walk in, and there's like probably like 7 of us. Not the same girls as yesterday, thank God, because I would have been fucking embarrassed if I was like, yeah, I know I came for a coffee yesterday and it was pretty good, but then I also brought all my friends so they can look at the coffee, you know? That would have been embarrassing, okay? So anyways, we walk in, okay? We sit down, there's like 7 of us, and like everyone just kind of ignores us. Like they're just like, I think they just didn't know what was going on, because it was like there was like six ladies and then 1 guy, which was Shia. And so we were all sitting there and we're like, nah! And we're like kicking our feet. So we sat down and we all ordered coffees or whatever. After they ordered after we ordered coffees, we all like kind of got ignored. And then Numi was like sitting there and she was like, well, I guess I just won't get a lap dance because Numi really wanted to get a lap dance at the beginning. And then later in like us hanging out, she's like, okay, we could just like, the more we sat there, the more she got nervous and the more she was like, I don't want to get a lap dance. And then I told her, I was like, I'm going to tell them that you got a promotion at work and then they're going to come put their tits in your face. And then she was like, no, that's okay. And I was like, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So then everyone kind of ignored us. But then this one lady, honestly, the hottest one, like she was real hot. Like she was like,
Nice.
she was real pretty. She came over and then, well, first of all, okay, wait, before she came over, there was this another lady that came over and Numi like gave her like a lot of money for as like, you know, when you give a lot of money, you get a lap dance, but instead of Numi like giving the money and being like, one lap dance please or anything, she just she had her hand out, okay, and she was giving the money and she was like, here you go. So then the lady was like, oh, thanks, and then took it and left because she didn't say anything. So it was like, and I was like, Numi, what was that? And she was like, I'm sorry. She's like, I didn't know. But she just was like, here you go. And I was like, oh, okay. So that happened. So then we were sitting there for like longer. And then the really pretty lady came up and then she was like, hi guys, like, does anyone want a lap dance? And she was like smacking her tits together. And then Numi was like, oh, and then Shia and I literally pointed straight at Numi. She's like, yeah, she's been wanting a lap dance the entire time that we've been here.
Nice.
Like, she just really wants one. And then she was like, oh yeah. And so everyone scooted over and then she just got on top of Numi and started like giving her a lap dance. And it was so funny because watching Numi like get her, watching Numi with a woman on top of her was the most funniest thing ever because she not only was she like shaking her butt, Numi was like, oh, like the entire time. Like that's what she was saying. She was just like she was like, oh, and then like for some reason, like imagine like someone's ass. Hold on, wait, I need to get where is my butt thing? Where is it?
Glad to hear that absolutely none of the flirting training you gave Numi during her subathon did her any good at all in the
Right.
gentleman's club.
I know, right? See, this is what it was like. So imagine Numi like sitting here, okay? This is exactly what it was like. So it was like they were shaking around and then Numi was like, oh. and then when her like she like turned around and like her like tits came out or whatever, it was very like she was like, oh like that. Like she would like put her hands up and like look away and she'd be like, oh my god. And then I was like, Numi, I was like looking at her, I was like, what? Numi, because like every time she was like shaking her tits like this, it was very like Numi would like look away and be like, oh, they're very up in my face. Oh, and I was sitting, I was like, Numi, I was like, then after the lap dance, and then Toma got a lap dance too. And when she was shaking her ass, we all clapped. We were like, yay! And then the woman was like, she was like, oh my god. She's like, my ass has never got clapped. Like my ass has never been clapped before. She's like, I really liked that. And she was like laughing the entire time. She was having a good time. She was having a great time. And so anyways, it was really funny. And then after that happened, I was like, Numi, I was like, you're supposed to look at her boobs. And then Numi was like, I don't want to be disrespectful. I'm like, Numi, you're being disrespectful by not looking at them. Okay, I'm like, she comes here to get her boobs looked at, all right? That is... I'm like, facts. I'm like, you probably made her feel... I mean, I'm sure she didn't care because she was having a good time. But like, and I was like, and I literally said to Numi, I was like, Numi, what happens when a woman, like when an actual woman sits on you? Okay, what are you gonna do? And she's like, oh, I'd probably do that. I'm like, Numi, you're gonna make her feel bad. I'm like, Numi, you can't do that. It was really funny. It was Numi's never gonna get a woman like that. I was like, you can't do that.